With so many sim racers across the globe looking for a cheap rig alternative as they get into sim racing, many budget offerings have emerged over the years. RacGTing? Raceting? Okay, apparently it's RacTing, and they've sent me their $170 Challenger 301 for me to see if it holds up in insert current year. So how does it fare out on circuit, and would I recommend this to any of you watching? Disclaimer and description. But before then, what's so different about this cockpit in comparison to other options out there? Well, for a start, its price is definitely not one to laugh at, as without any sales, it sits at around $210 US, which is already fairly decent. But with the recent Black Friday sale as well as an affiliate code, that price drops dramatically, all the way down to a measly $165 US. This is an incredible deal considering what you get in the box, as inside of the box you'll find the mostly pre-assembled Challenger 301, the pedal plate, and a relatively small bag of screws and cable ties. The build process was relatively simple as well, though I would like to mention something that other YouTubers haven't. If you install the pedal deck with the clamps orientated in the way they are, the entire pedal deck will pop out with literally any pedals you'll use.
I'm using this with some high-end load cell pedals, but after pressing the heavy brake just once and having the entire pedal tray separate off in a second, I've realized that I wasn't going to be able to do that.
Just flip it around so that the larger clip is at the bottom and boom, you're done. And if while assembling the included manual isn't your taste, then RacTing also has a video guide on their YouTube channel as well. Very simple to follow, overall assembly was mostly painless. And once put together, there are a few adjustment points around the rig, like the angle on the wheel deck, the distance of the pedal plate, as well as the side clamps here on the side of the seat to adjust the angle of the headrest. Honestly, everything is fairly well thought out, from the mostly metal construction to the nice suede Alcantara-like material on the seat itself. Now that's not all, as RacTing has also included a variety of mounting options, from the fairly wide shifter mount to the fantastic pedal plate to the varied mounting on the wheel deck. I'm especially pleased with this rig as the pedal plate, while with very thin cutouts, is the only rig that I know that natively supports the mounting of the Camus LC100 pedals. Now, the main reason people buy these folding cockpits is not for the superior comfort or excellent rigidity, it's rather for the fact that these, as I've affectionately called them lawn chairs, have an incredibly unique advantage, with that advantage being able to fold in half. Fantastic for those of you with a very limited amount of space like myself, or those of you racing in your living rooms or shared living spaces. Now, I've seen a lot of varied solutions in my time, from hanging rigs on walls to sliding rigs underneath of desks, but nothing beats just unplugging and folding the rig in half within a matter of seconds. And just like how you can fold away the Challenger 301 quickly, subscribing to SimPulse is even quicker. 99% of you aren't subscribed, so why not? It's completely free, helps me out a bunch with the algorithm, and pushes me to create more reviews and content on SimPulse. Thank you. With my awful joke aside, how does the RacTing Challenger 301 actually handle itself out on circuit, stage, or out on the open roads? Well, to drive, first you have to get in, and this is a fairly simple task if you haven't mounted any really heavy sim racing equipment, as you need to unlatch the latch on the right side, tilt the entire wheel deck to one side, slide yourself in, and do the last few steps in reverse. And as I've seen others mention, it's just so much easier to slip in without unlatching the wheel deck. And onto the driving. To truly put the Challenger 301 to the test, I used the 100 kilogram load cell Camus LC100 pedals, as well as their 12 Nm C12, as well as setting the force feedback to max on every title. And to my surprise, once you're actually out on circuit, this cockpit has a fairly solid construction, and at no point did I notice any excessive or noticeable wobble or movement while driving. This does not mean, however, that there is no wobble or flex, as while stationary, it's fairly easy to notice the huge amount of movement in the wheel deck, and by extension the shifter deck. As well as this, if you don't fully screw in the pedal deck thumb screws, the entire pedal plate can slide out further than you'd ideally like on higher end load cell pedals. Though, if you aren't a reviewer like myself and use this normally, you most likely won't even notice the movement. And while I did notice that the wheelbase itself was a bit tall for my taste, for the majority of you racing behind your desks or behind a big living room TV, you won't find it blocking anything important on screen. And overall, the ergonomics of the rig felt pretty good, with the aforementioned adjustable headrest and nice and soft seat. My one problem with this though is the angle of your legs once sat in the seat, as they make your knees sit higher than ideal. And while this can be adjusted with the locking mechanism at the rear of the cockpit, I never really found a setting that suited me specifically, though this really does depend on your body proportions and shape. So, with all of that being said, would I recommend the RacTing Challenger 301 cockpit? Well, with its impressive price tag from the recent Black Friday sale as well as other smaller discounts, its fairly impressive strength and compact aspects, you'd be hard pressed to find a similar folding cockpit for a cheaper price. While this cockpit has definitely taken some inspiration from other cockpits out on the market, I simply cannot fault this for those of you looking for a cheaper, more space efficient rig replacement. Subscribe.